I met Emily when I was 24. At that time, I was grinding my way through the early days of my career, working 14-hour days trying to get my tech consulting business off the ground. I wasn't born into money. My parents were working class, and I knew from a young age that if I wanted to be successful, I'd have to build it myself. And that's exactly what I did. Emily was different from anyone I'd ever known. She was smart, funny, and warm, the kind of woman who could light up a room just by walking into it. We met at a friend's party, and I remember being drawn to her immediately. She had this confidence about her, this easy charm that made you feel like you were the only person in the world when she was talking to you. We started dating shortly after that night, and it wasn't long before I fell for her hard. She was supportive when I had to cancel dates because I was stuck working. She was patient when I had to take business calls in the middle of dinner. I remember thinking how lucky I was, how rare it was to find someone who understood the demands of building something from scratch. After 2 years of dating, I made my first serious money. My business had landed a huge contract, and practically overnight I went from struggling to comfortable. I took Emily to Italy to celebrate. We drank wine on the Amalfi Coast, and one night, under a full moon, I asked her to marry me. She cried, said yes, told me she'd been waiting for this moment. I thought I'd won the lottery. We got married the next year in a small ceremony with close friends and family. I bought us a beautiful house in an upscale neighborhood. I told her she didn't need to work if she didn't want to, that I'd take care of everything. She loved the idea, said she'd focus on building a life for us at home. I was more than happy to provide that. Over the next 5 years, my business exploded. We expanded to international markets, secured government contracts, and built a reputation for being the best in the business. My net worth climbed into the tens of millions, and through it all, I thought Emily and I were solid. Sure, there were rough patches, some arguments about me working too much or traveling too often, but nothing major. I trusted her. She trusted me. Or so I thought. It started with little things. Emily would go out more often. Girls' nights that used to end at 10 p.m. started stretching to 2 or 3 a.m. She was more protective of her phone, setting a password even though she never had one before. One night, I woke up around 1 a.m. and noticed she wasn't in bed. I went downstairs and found her sitting on the couch, texting. When I asked her what she was doing, she said it was Lisa from her yoga class, that Lisa was going through a tough time and needed to talk. I let it go. After all, Emily had always been kind and empathetic. It wasn't strange that she'd comfort a friend. But it happened again. And again. Then one day, I noticed something odd. Emily was getting dressed to go out. Hair and makeup done to perfection, wearing a dress I'd never seen before. "Going out with Lisa again?" I asked casually. She hesitated. "No, it's a work dinner." I raised an eyebrow. "You don't work." She laughed it off. "It's for Lisa's company, networking thing." That was the moment I knew. I didn't confront her, not yet. Instead, I made a call to a private investigator I knew from business circles, a guy who specialized in corporate espionage and personal matters. He was discreet, efficient, and expensive, but I could afford him. 3 days later, I got the first set of photos. Emily, wrapped around a younger guy in the back of a car, kissing him. The guy was Marcus, her yoga instructor. I remembered meeting him once at a studio open house. He was younger than me by at least 5 years, good looking in that effortless beach bum kind of way. The PI dug deeper. Turned out this had been going on for almost 6 months. Marcus and Emily were meeting up at hotels, restaurants, even using our vacation home when I was away on business. I stared at those pictures for hours, feeling this cold, empty void forming in my chest. I wasn't heartbroken, not at first. I was angry, humiliated, but most of all, I felt played. Emily thought she was being clever, thought I'd never find out. And even if I did, she figured I'd do what I'd always done, might forgive her. After all, I'd let small things slide before. Overspending on the credit cards. Accidentally forgetting to tell me about a $5,000 shopping spree. I never made a big deal about it. I was making more than enough to cover it. She mistook my generosity for weakness. She thought wrong. The first thing I did was lock down my finances. My business had always been structured under a trust, something I'd set up after my first million to protect my assets from litigation and taxes. Emily had no claim to it, but I wanted to go a step further. I separated out our joint accounts, cut off her access to the larger investment funds, transferred the deeds for the properties into a holding company under my name. My lawyer assured me it was all airtight, perfectly legal. Then I waited. 3 weeks later, I came home early from a work trip, walked into the bedroom and found Marcus in my bed with my wife beneath him. Marcus scrambled to pull his pants on. Emily sat up, clutching the sheets to her chest, her face white with panic. "Jason, get out!" I said to Marcus. "Dude, get out!" He bolted. Emily started crying. "Jason, I can explain." I held up a hand. "No need. I've known for months." Her eyes widened. "Then why didn't you?" "Because I needed time to make sure you'd walk away with nothing." I served her the divorce papers 2 days later. She laughed. Actually laughed. "Jason, you know how this works. I'm entitled to half." "You should read the papers," I said. She flipped through them. Her face paled. You moved everything." "I did." "You can't do that." "I already did." Her lawyer tried to fight it, dragged it through court for months. But my lawyer was better, and the trust was bulletproof. The judge awarded her a modest settlement, just enough for her to live comfortably for a year or two. No alimony, no claim to my business. Marcus left her 2 weeks after the settlement was finalized. Turns out he wasn't interested in a broke divorcee. Emily tried to reach out after that. Left messages, sent texts, even showed up at my office once. I ignored her. A few months later, I saw her sitting alone at a cheap diner downtown. She looked tired, worn down. She saw me. Her eyes lit up. "Jason," she said, standing. I've been thinking. I made a mistake. We can... No, we can't." "But we were good together once." I smiled. "No, I was good to you once." And then I walked away.